Marky Mark's Woodshop 101, all about safety.
Well, I don't know about all about safety, but Amber thought it might be a good idea to do a little thing on shop safety, and I said, sure, because I'm pretty easy like that. Well, obviously the number one thing you want is safety glasses. Most prescription glasses are impact resistant. They're usually good enough. However,
At least in the state of Washington.
well, whatever. Disclaimer, check your state. Heaven forbid that your state shouldn't, they shouldn't meet state standards despite protecting your eyes. God, don't get me started on politics. Anyway, eye protection. First and foremost, there's lots of wood bits from machines that fly around, and even if you have glasses on, they find a way to get in the side. So if you notice, these kind of wrap around a little bit to help protect the side. Or if that's not enough, you can wear a whole face shield, which is good for some things, not so much woodworking, but eye protection, very important. You only get 2. So, done with eyes. Ears are next. Ear protection. Some of the machines can be kind of loud, such as a joiner or a compressor in a tin building, which actually isn't as bad as what I thought. But, ear protection. You can also use these at the range. So, the next thing...
After you make your custom woodstock, go the range.
Huh?
After you make your custom woodstock with the
Gunstock?
ears, yeah. And then
We have. Funny you should mention that. We have. Shop safety. Whoa! Gunstock stain. Huh? How special is that? So, probably the next most important thing might be, there's a lot of fine dust particles in a wood shop that's coming from the saw, sanding, etc., etc. So, you can always have these little kind of like nurses' masks, or something better. These are very fine micron filters that no dust particles will get through, so you can do that. Ta-da-ta-da. Or, one step even better, these will block fumes. Forget the dust particles, paint fumes or stain fumes, whatever. I got to keep them capped so they don't get ruined. But at some point in time, you will get a splinter, you will get crap in your eyes. So, up on the wall is my handy dandy first aid kit, and it has such goodies in it. Other than Band-Aids, gauze, and saline solution to clean out your eyes, because there will be a particle that gets in your eyes no matter what you do. Peroxide's up there too. Just some basic stuff, because you will, at some point or other, nick your finger and leak. Oh, and by the way, speaking of nicking fingers, all 10. If anybody is missing any of these, do not take safety advice from them. We have rubber gloves, which are, I don't know about safety, but they're nice to use when you're staining and stuff, so you don't, come home with brown hands or whatever. Now, a lot of these tools,
some of the stuff could be caustic, couldn't it? Chemicals or whatever.
I don't know. Some of it probably could be. I don't know how bad it is for you, but there are potentially some nasty chemicals. I try to avoid them. But at any rate, one of the things we like to do in woodworking is use tools. Tools. The shop's falling apart today. Tools, cutting tools specifically, such as a saw blade, if you look close, I don't know if you can get that, the teeth. Can you see the teeth? That's carbide. Saw blades spin about 5,000 RPMs, and they've got these really sharp, really hard carbide tips on them. And if I can find quickly the nasty router bit that I had sitting here that fell down, it just looks vicious. Also, it's carbide tipped. They spin on a router 30,000 RPM. You want to keep your finger away from the carbide that spins that fast. This stuff is so hard, I use a diamond file to sharpen it. You want to keep any workpiece in between carbide that spins very fast and your fingers. Remember, all 10. You came in with them, you want to leave with all 10. And there's a lot of devices you can use to keep your fingers away from them. If you have a small piece of wood where you don't want to get your fingers that close, there are these little holders called jigs sometimes that you can kind of clamp in there. And now I can keep my hands and fingers away when I cut it. And they make other things called push sticks and push blocks. When you cut a piece of wood, you can keep your fingers away by using that to run it through the saw. Or the same with one other tools other than a saw, such as a joiner. You can put the block on there and run it through that way, keeping your fingers further away than you need to. So, gloves, not used too much with woodworking, but I had them here. I use them for welding. Leather gloves, heat, welding. Common sense goes a long way too for safety in the workshop. The one thing that I don't have and I need to get is a fire extinguisher. A nice thing to have in a workshop or anywhere. The only one we have is in the kitchen. That's more important in the workshop at the moment. We're just setting up the shop. We're still fine-tuning it. So, you want good lighting for safety. What else can we say about safety, my dear? Anything?
Don't get hurt.
Well, that would be the whole object of safety. Keeping these.
Yes, we like all the digits.
Yes, and not getting hurt. Perhaps another safety feature which has to do with respiration, a recent addition to the shop, was an air filter. All those fine particles that float in the air, that removes them. And also dust collector too. As you're running machines, this will suck most of the dust and bigger particles.
So keeping a neat and tidy workspace will help prevent.
Too. Yeah, clutter will get you. But I think that's it for basic safety, unless you can think of anything else to add. Nick, well, there you have it. Basic Safety 101 in the shop. Marky Mark Extraordinaire.